to Signature Morning on Signature TV. My name is Godwin Sunday. We'll be talking about the hardship in Nigeria, but we'll take it from the perspective of the Ariwa Consultative Forum this morning, which we have a report here that says that the Ariwa Consultative Forum has blamed the economic policies of President Bola Tinubu for worsening condition in the northern part of Nigeria. The ACF called on President Bola Tinubu to take immediate action to address pressing issues of insecurity, education and economic development in the region. The Pan-Northern Social Political Organization stated this in a communique released to journalists at the end of its National Executive Council meeting in Kaduna yesterday. The communique signed by the ACF's National Publicity Secretary Professor Tuka Muhammad Baba expressed dissatisfaction with the current economic policy, which the forum claimed have amplified hardship in the country. And also looking at this from other perspective, we want to try to match words with action this morning and probably get some facts if actually what is being said by the Arawa Consultative Forum are indeed correct, even with the present economy and present state of things in the north. And joining me in this conversation is Buka Suleiman, who is joining me from Kaduna State. Good morning, Buka. All right, so we're looking at this conversation from all angle this morning as a country. We're trying to also examine this such conversation by a group of this caliber. The Arawa Consultative Forum are saying a thing of this nature. Will it further push the hand of the president to want to achieve tilt towards the north and improve some policies? Like they say that some of the economic policy are harsh, but I won't be able to give a lot of analysis this morning. That's why we're talking to Buka this morning. All right, Buka. Good morning, Buka.
Sunday, how are you?
All right, Buka, I'm very fine this morning. You've listened to the Arawa Consultative Forum and what they've said so far. How correct is the statement that the Northerners are suffering under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration?
Good morning, Sunday and fellow Nigerians. It's a very fateful morning. It has been very cold here in Kaduna, but not a disturbing one for that matter. Coming to the issue of discussion, the policies of Mr. President. Well, corroborating the issue with the meeting and circular issued out yesterday by the Arewa Consultative Forum in respect of the situation, I want to tell you this is a decision they're supposed to have come out to talk earlier than now. But maybe they have gotten so much pressure, much more than before. That is why at this moment they are coming out to issue a circular addressing to Mr. President, telling him categorically that to be precise, northern Nigeria are most heated by the policies of Mr. President. Mr. Sunday and fellow listeners, I want to tell you that the issue is becoming unbecoming as far as North is concerned. You may recall just last 2 weeks, we had discussion of such with regard to the issue of national grid collapse. And now it has come to the issue of policies. Right from the one that Mr. President became the president, there was this announcement for the removal of fuel subsidy. I want to tell you that was a very, very, very wrong decision, even though it was done for a good. I want to tell you, you cannot just take a very sensitive issue like the fuel subsidy without putting modalities in place. As far as what we saw was concerned, when the president became the president or when he was taking the oath of office on that day, he categorically mentioned people were even thinking he was trying to be jovial with the matter. But it was a very serious matter that he took that decision. But unfortunately, the way that those policy is supposed to be a kind of put in place in order to cushion the effect, there was nothing that was put on ground. So now after that, a lot of policies have been emanated from the office of the president. The last one was the issue of the tax. You understand? Issue of the tax and the VAT. I think the Northern Governors Forum, they came out to say that they are not supporting that policy that Mr. President want to put in place. And when Mr. President came, because it was chaired by Mr. Vice President, unfortunately, Mr. President said, as far as that policy is concerned, there is no going back. That if there is any area that needs to be adjusted, that he is going to adjust. But as far as is concerned, there is no going back. I want to tell you something. This country has more than 200 million population, and you are ruling people. If at the end of the day, people say, this is how we want you to go, no matter how you think that policy is going to be good for the masses, if the masses are not ready for that policy at that particular point in time, most sincerely speaking, if the government is for the people, then there must be a shift from the earlier arrangement by the Executive Council. But unfortunately today, Mr. President will come out to say, as far as this policy is concerned, there is not going back. And at the end of the day, when you look at the issue critically, it is not for the good of the masses. Coming to the north, to be precise, this policy and other policies are affecting us more than you think. I told you the other day that sincerely speaking, a lot of people are finding it difficult to eat. But the way I'm seeing it, if it continue like this, I assure you, people will revert. And people reverting, it's not going to be good for this country. It's not going to be good for this country in the sense that everybody will come out to protest against the government. And by the time people come out to protest against the government, I assure you that will be the beginning of a problem as far as this country is concerned. Northern Nigeria is beyond what you are thinking. And if people cannot be able to eat, why you see people in the government moving with jeep with siren, one person with more than 15, 20 expensive SUVs. I assure you, people will begin to attack those that are in government, and it will not be good for this country. So the earlier, the better for Mr. President to start reversing some of these policies. I was discussing with a friend just last week. We were thinking that, okay, since the removal of subsidy by 100% on fuel has caused serious chaos to the country, why not, Mr. President, find a way of bringing back subsidy even with just 30% in place? Remove it by 70%, bring back 30%. At least it will reduce the cost of fuel, because 99.9% of all the goods and services that are taking place in this country, they depend on the fuel and power.
But Booker, let's even look at the president's policies right now. Some of the president policies are geared towards national development. President Tinubu have not set out his own agenda or set out policies that will be anti-Nigeria. Some of these policies, even the economic policy which you have mentioned, are set out by the president. I believe it's for the better good of Nigeria. This statement by the Arewa Consultative Forum, don't you think in a way it will further tear Nigeria into an ethnic ground? All right, Booker. So I'm asking at this point, and I've said that looking at the president's policy, economic policy so far, like you've rightly mentioned, I don't think for one that the president has set out to create policies that will be anti-Nigeria. I believe that his policies is for the better good of Nigerians. Looking at this Arewa's Consultative Forum speech at this point in time, don't you think that this will further tear Nigerian down along ethnic lines?
Yes, whether you like it or not, this is the way we are going. If you have done it in a way that it will unite the country, it will make us to be one as we know. But the thing is not working in that line, then of course you have to come and say it. The suffering we are experiencing in Nigeria, don't forget, it's not only in the north, it's all over the country. So if Arewa Consultative Forum have come out to talk, I assure you in the next maybe couple of days, maybe in the Igbo, will come out and say, yes, this is our stand. The Southwest will also come out and make their own position because we are all suffering in the matter. So you should not even think along that line that it will maybe start, people will start thinking, or maybe it will divide us along ethnic group. No, 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 no. As far as hunger is concerned, it doesn't know ethnicity. As far as suffering is concerned, it doesn't know ethnicity. One thing you should understand, if Mr. President is doing something good, everybody will enjoy the dividend of democracy. And if at the end of the day he has taken a policy that will affect the country, you should remember it's not going to affect only the north. It will affect the entire country. So issue of dividing us along ethnic or whatever inclination you may think of, it's not what I think you should even think. You understand? So Mr. President have done something which is wrong, and it is felt by the Arewa Consultative Forum that they should address it so that he will understand and think otherwise, in the sense that he will come out with something that it will be good for the north and the entire country. You get me? So this is what the president is expected to do. They let him look at what they have raised. Are they saying the right thing? Are they saying the wrong thing? Are they political? Let him analyze it and make people analyze the situation. And at the end of the day, let him take a decision that at the end of the day, it will affect the entire Nigerians. Mr. President should know that Nigeria is a very, very large country, that whatever policy you want to take, you have to think along the right, you have to think along the left, center, and all aspects of this thing before you take that kind of decision. Because whatever decision you take, it will affect chunk of people. So you have to analyze the situation and the policy as well before you finally take a position to the aspect
Buka,
of any implementation.
Buka,
Yes, sir.
to a very large
Yes, sir.
extent, the former chairman of the Arewa Consultative Forum is currently working with the vice president in the person of Shatima right now. Okay, I can see you smiling right now, but it's okay. Now, the president is surrounded by Northerners. The special advisor to the president, national security advisor to the president, the president of Nuru Badu, is from the north. Major stakeholders in Tinubu'S government are from the north. And I don't want to believe that most of the Northerners in the cabinet of Mr. President also will be fighting for the more hardship to be in the north. Do you share in this my opinion, Buka?
This is the sad reality, and you should understand. I share this idea as far as that issue is concerned. Of course, there are northerners in the cabinet of Mr. President. Even the former chairman of the Arewa Consultative Forum is in the cabinet. But I want you to understand, in the last Economic Council meeting, where the Governors Forum said they are not in support of that policy on tax and VAT, what did Mr. President come out to say? So it's not, if there are most people, or if there are people that are most closer to the president, they are the governors, because they are having authority in their hand, and they have come out to say they are against that policy at this particular point in time. But Mr. President said, as far as that policy is concerned, there is not going back. There is no going back. So if the governors will come out and take a stand, and Mr. President will come out to say no going back, then who do you think will come and talk that the president will not take action as far as what he has is concerned.
Buka.
But as far as Arewa Consultative Forum are concerned, they have come out to say their stand. We are suffering in the north, and we want some of the policies to look at. That's all. Chicken, nothing more.
Buka.
To the government, if they're even giving advice to the government, if the government
All
are
right,
not willing to
Buka,
take their
if you
advice,
can
what
hear
can
me,
they do?
Buka,
Can they change?
Buka, if you can hear me, let's even talk. You've mentioned the governors forum coming out to speak. I understand that in the north we have 19 states in the north. Then hardship,
Yes.
like we've mentioned, like the Arawa Consultative Forum have rightly mentioned, that the president needs to put his house in order. But we rarely see the Arawa Consultative Forum come out to speak about state growth and development in the state. Is it that the Arawa Consultative Forum is turning a blind eye to some of the economic policies that state governments are putting in place that is even further deteriorating the state and throwing them along poverty and hardship line? Is it that Arawa Consultative Forum are not seeing it, or they are just shying away from that conversation?
I want to say this. First of all, I agree with you. If some of the problem are from the federal government, some of the problem are from the state government. Some of the policies at the state level are also affecting the masses. I want to tell you categorically at this level, the federal government is the central government. As far as Nigeria is concerned, there are positions that the federal government will take as a stand. When they implement it, the governors, whether they like it or not, they must take responsibility. Let's take the issue of the minimum wage. You can see more than how many states now have taken the directive of the federal government that they should increase the minimum wage. Majority of the northern states have implemented the minimum wage as I'm talking to you now. Last week or last 2 weeks, the state government of Kaduna have also taken a position of paying, I think, about 73,000 naira as minimum wage in Kaduna State. You get me? And this was an initiative by the federal government, because they have removed fuel subsidy. They have gotten more than enough money that they can be able to cater for some of these issues. And many of the states are now following suit. That doesn't mean that some of the policies that the government of our states are taking is not affecting the masses, or the Arewa Consultative Forum are ignorant of such. But I want to tell you the major stakeholder as far as this is concerned is the federal government. Once the federal government take a position and they give directive to the state governors have no right. They must follow suit, whether they like it or not. This have happened before and is still happening today. And you can see there is no serious fracas between the federal government and the state government. I think this issue of the rejecting the issue of the VAT and the tax is the first thing I can say the governors have rejected as far as this government is concerned. But before, there was no any policy that the federal government has taken that the state government have come out to say we are not interested in it. But this is one of it, because they have also looked at the psychological effect and the long effect that it will have on the masses. And coming to the issue of the policies of the state, and maybe you want to say the Arewa Consultative Forum have not come to talk to the governors. The Arewa Consultative Forum are more closer to the governors than the federal government. The way they used to talk to the governors is just like almost every hour, so that some of the policies the state government are taking or are coming up with, they should be masses oriented, so that the masses will not suffer from them. And to some extent, I can tell you which of the policies can you mention now within the northern state that you can say is affecting the masses negatively. Which of the policies? Do you have any state that you can cite as an example within the northern state that they have taken a position which the masses are seriously affected from it? Yes, I can say by the time maybe we have this autonomy of the local government, and if the state government have no interest in making sure they mop up the money that will be sent to the local government, of course, by that time, the masses will enjoy more dividend of democracy. Because the local government is the closest tier of the government that is closer to the masses. The local government chairman is always at the disposal of the masses. So by the time he has resources at his disposal, I assure you, a lot of the masses will enjoy dividend of democracy. It's a very, very good step for the federal government to have taken a decision that they want to give autonomy to the local government. I assure you, by the time that is fully implemented and put in place, the masses will enjoy dividend of democracy. Of course, we know the governors of state are also contributing to the sufferness and the stress the masses are going on. But the federal government is the central government, and they have right to bring out policies that will affect generality of the country. And at the end of the day, the governors cannot say that we are not party to it. As far as this issue
Well, Booker, I might not be able to give you answers to some of the northern governors' policies that are not working at the moment. Probably because I'm not the spokesperson to a lot of the governors, even in the north. But let's even take the conversation a bit further, Booker. Look at this whole policy by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu since his ascension into office. We've seen northern groups come out to speak against some of the economic policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But we've seen policies also introduced by the former president, who happens to be President Buhari. Some of his policies also had some retrogressive effect, even on Nigerian economy. And some people will say it threw the Nigerian back into along poverty lines. This attack on the president, one will ask again, is it that the Northerners are just waking up from their sleep, or it's a deliberate attempt to frustrate President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government?
Mr. Sunday, I want to tell you this. Let me be sincere with you. It's not all the time that you just come out to public and just talk anyhow. You understand? The Arewa Consultative Forum are not ignorant of the processes that they can be able to reach out to Mr. President. And it's not that they have not taken that step. I want to categorically tell you that they are aware of it, and they have followed all means to ensure that all possible ways of making sure it reaches to the president are exhausted before coming out to the public. As you said, we have many northerners that are closer to the government. If those people that are closer to the government have been contacted and they have done all the possible best to ensure they reach the government, and the government is not listening, you understand which one of it, the reaction of the Mr. President when the economic policy team chaired by Mr. President took a decision along with the governors forum. Mr. President came out to say, no, as far as that policy is concerned, no going back. Then what do you think of individual? If individuals should go and advise the government in a way that the government should understand, unless the government are interested in going back on such policies before they can reverse it or take other actions. So the Arewa Consultative Forum have no any bad intention toward what they are saying. As far as this country is concerned, even the common man on the street is aware of some of these policies and its negative impact.
All, all, all right, Booker. Let's even talk about the generality of the North right now. Most middle beltons of the northern extraction, speaking of Benue, Plateau, speaking of Kogi State and some other northern states, will say that these policies does not, this hardship has been said by the Arawa Consultative Forum. Well, we'll go for this short break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation with Booker. Please go nowhere as the show continues in a moment.
Due to the current economy of this country, I don't see any way forward in the country because the country is being built on the rich men and the politician. They have built the country in their favor. We, the poor masses, are just in open prison in this country. From the way things are going, if you understand, you see the FIROS, they just paste their memo for recruitment. And they said is within the years of 27 to 30, a graduate of Nigeria that gone to NYC through the poor masses will be in the year of 30 something and above before being a graduate. How do you think such person will get the work? Now you will see all Nigeria running to what is it called, NIM, to see if they can bring down their age to apply. So the country is just built for the rich. We the poor masses, I don't see anything for us in this country.
And in Nigeria, due to lack of knowledge, a lot of them are even the leaders. They don't have they call it common sense, but it wasn't common sense. They were shouting, Buhari didn't go to schools. They talk all these things, finish. Yet Buhari managed this country. We weren't suffering like this. Can you imagine a bag of rice now is 90,000? Then tell me, can you afford it yourself with your salary? So these are the things we are talking about. Tinubu shouldn't betray the opportunity God gave him. You know, God give people chance. He give them chance, but they don't want to utilize it properly. And when God just turn his back, they will say, they've killed him, or they've do so, but they are the cause. So, my dear, I don't like to really talk about this nation. It's embarrassing.
Thank you so much. I did not see hardship, but I see Nigeria moving forward. But as for hardship, I did not see hardship. Because I remember that year when they said, I remember we buy a bag of rice, 1,500 naira, the other year, from 1,500 to 7,000. So it's now 15,000. The country is moving forward. Everything we are hoping Tinubu should continue within a while. It was not something that has spoiled for how many years. We don't expect him to repair it under 1 year or 2 years. So with that, things will be okay. Current economy in Nigeria is very, very bad. For instance, I'm a businessman and the price of goods goes up almost every 2 weeks when I go to the market to buy goods. It's just very, very annoying. But we're hoping that it will get better. But we don't see any good thing coming soon. The generation that we have T-Pain is kind of funny, but it's annoying and it's very, very sad. So I hope that maybe one day God or a good person in government can do something better for us, because our basic things are not even affordable anymore. So I pray that in the future something better will come up, government will do better, and the people too will see a better way to live their life than we are now. Because going by this method, the country is going down.
Welcome back, and this is still Signature Morning on Signature TV. My name is Godwin Sunday, and we're talking with Buka Suleiman, who is joining us from Kaduna. All right, so Buka, let's take this conversation further by looking at it from what a lot of Middle Beltons are saying, that this Arewa Consultative Forum's conclusions does not in any way states their stand on this issue. Do you think at this point that the Arewa Consultative Forum is speaking for the entire NAT, or it is just for selected states at this point in time?
As I'm concerned, Arewa Consultative Forum is talking on behalf of the entire country, not even the North, as far as I'm concerned. Because what they are calling for is good governance. And by the time we have that good governance, all Nigerians will enjoy the dividend of the good governance, not Arewa, to be precise. So their position is for the entire country. But if you want to limit it to the northern states, I can say they are speaking on behalf of the entire northern state. That is also my position. By the time Mr. President reverses some of the policies that have been in the pipeline or those that have already been implemented, I assure you by the time we have good stance, everybody will live to enjoy it, not only the northern part of the country. There are some of the policies, by the time they are implemented, other people will even enjoy it more than the northern part of the country. So it's, as far as I'm concerned, their position is very, very correct, and they are very right. And we hope other groups, other sensitive groups that are in the country will come out to say their position, so that Mr. President will now have the idea of how people are really, really suffering as far as this country is concerned. But people are finding it so difficult to live, and as a result of this kind of policies. So some of these policies should be reversed, so that people will have dividends of democracy.
All right, Suleiman, Buka, I'm sorry we have to let you go at this point in time, but we will continue the conversation. I want to say thank you so much for your time, Buka. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'll meet next time.
All right, we'll go for this break, and when we come back, more to come on Signature Morning. Please go nowhere as the show continues in a moment.